name's Cliff Bleszinski. I'm the former design director at Epic Games, and now I'm dabbling in the restaurant business, it would appear.
So when it comes to the restaurant business, what is it that kind of attracted you to get into this, having spent your entire life making video games?
Well, I learned a lot from various restaurant folks throughout the industry throughout the years, and the first thing, if possible, is to own the real estate, which we do. Don't pay somebody else's mortgage. The other thing is to provide an emerging market that you essentially cater to. And you look at when Niall Hanley put the Hibernian on Glenwood, there was nothing down there, and now it's kind of a burgeoning area with the hotels, the ale house, everything going up there. If you look at Oakwood, I think is set to be the next destination in regards to growth. I think this whole area is going to be developed, and find an emerging market and ride it up, provide high-end comfort food, and the locals will hopefully come.
What's your own background in terms of cooking? How good a cook do you consider yourself?
I'm not a very good cook at all. It's the classic, well, I like to eat. But I mean, I've been fortunate enough during my 20-year career at Epic Games to travel all around the world and eat at various establishments. And Raleigh's a fascinating town that it's grown a lot since 1998. I'm going to stay here. I plan on dying here. I think it's an amazing place. But you can't get too far ahead of the curve in regards to being too fancy for Raleigh. That's why the station kind of opted for comfort food, meatloaf, mac and cheese, fried chicken, those kinds of things.
When it comes to the actual menu and the food people will be eating here, what kind of hand did you have in that?
If it sucks, I tell Niall Hanley. And I tell Scott and Dan Yeager. It's one of those things that, if a restaurant isn't good and you go once, you'll maybe try it twice. After the second time, you'll just write it off forever until, the chef gets fired or it gets reworked. And then word has to spread again for a place to be good. You have to be consistent, and consistency is the key with any restaurant establishment. We live in North Raleigh now, but it's 30 minutes down here. We still come down here occasionally, have a pint, check things out, make sure everything's kind of running well, and keep an eye on the business.
And you have spent a lot of time in the various establishments around this area. I mean, what have you learned from that perspective that you're bringing to this restaurant?
In this business, turnover is always an issue. So if you can find good staff, keep them, because it's like Cheers. You want to go where everyone knows your name. There's various restaurants that I go to. We go have sushi at Sono and sit at the sushi bar, and then they recognize us because we go there once every week and a half, and then they know which fish is good. That's the kind of thing you want. Charismatic bartenders and servers that stick around, that people come and see on a regular basis, that learn the customers' names.
Now, I know that you said you're not a good cook, but is there anything that you're known for at home that you actually can do with the kitchen?
I make a hell of a quesadilla. And it's a cheese sandwich, but I use olive oil, and it's all the little things, such as using jack cheese, that make all the difference. It's not just slop cheese. And it's simple, but it's a good late night snack.
When it comes to all the experience you've built up over the years as a game developer, can you talk a little about anything that translates over into the restaurant business?
Well, I had an epiphany a few years ago. I was fortunate to be visiting New York City, and it looked like chaos. And then you really realize everything is just systems. A video game is systems that are operating together that the player manipulates. You look at the restaurant business, one thing I learned from Niall, from the other folks I've known in the business, is keep an eye on your ticket times. Keep an eye on your customers. Are they happy? Are they having drinks? Is something messed up? If something's messed up, give them a free dessert, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the other rules I learned from folks in the restaurant business is keep an eye on the bathroom. Because if the bathroom's not clean, that kitchen sure as hell isn't.
What would you say out there to people that have followed your career and have been waiting for the next game, and then this announcement comes out that you guys have a restaurant? You build it up through Twitter saying, here's my next thing, and it's a restaurant, not a game.
Well, to be fair, I have been tweeting photos of some game concepts I've been working on. Right now I'm looking at procuring funding for that. Expect some news hopefully in the next 4 to 6 weeks in regards to that. But I'd say in regards to this restaurant thing, it's first and foremost about community. It's about doubling down on the town that I love, Raleigh, the town in which I live. It's also about learning business. Learning about P&L, learning how to run a business. That's something Mr. Hanley's very, very good at, and he's kind of been acting as a big brother with that with me.
When it comes to your next project, just from a perspective of crowdfunding and Kickstarter and those kinds of things, what opportunities have those opened up for a developer like yourself versus going the traditional route of getting a big publisher to back it?
I would like to go directly to consumer if possible, although with the safety net of providing outside financing. I think Kickstarter is a beautiful romantic thing. I think for every success story, there's 10 failures, sadly, on Kickstarter. But I think it's possible with the success of DayZ to have the concept of pay for alpha or pay for early access and help the community forge and shape your game. Build a company while you build a game, while you build a community at the same time.